Hello friends, welcome to Leg Life. And you know, over the last year or so, we've had a lot of new people join our Leg Life community.
Yes.
And one of you actually emailed us recently and said, Adam and Sherry, your channel's grown a ton. There's a whole bunch of new people here. Would you be interested in doing an About Us like video where you answer some questions to help everybody know you guys a little bit better?
Yeah.
I thought, you know what, Phil? That's an amazing idea. And so we're actually starting the new year. Our second video of the year is going to be all about us.
Phil actually already did all of the hard work for us.
True.
He actually sent us a list of 25 questions. For time's sake, we pared it down to 20.
Some of these questions we've answered before, some of the things we've touched on. For some of you who actually know us better than we know ourselves, because you watch every video and you know even things that we don't, some of this will be a recap for you.
Right.
But some of the questions that Phil asked, I will say, when you're on YouTube as long as we've been, it can feel like, you know what, we've answered every question.
Right.
And then Phil comes through with an email and I'm like, yo.
These are good questions.
So Phil, we may be reaching out to you more saying, hey, we need more questions. So there are 20 questions. And Sherry Beth, are you excited about this?
I am, yeah.
We talked through some of our answers earlier today.
Yep.
And I think this one's going to be pretty fun. And we're just going to start with the first one, okay?
Yep.
Where were you born and raised?
This was an easy one.
It was an easy one.
I was born in Mishawaka, Indiana.
Which is known as the
Princess City.
Perfect, isn't it?
Yes. I was raised in various towns in Indiana.
Mm-hmm. I was born in Hartford, Connecticut. On Easter Sunday, 1980, at Mount Sinai Hospital, I was 7 pounds, 7 ounces, and my name is Adam Joseph, so we've always said that, like, if YouTube doesn't work out, cult leader, because all of those things really work out. So I was an Easter Sunday baby, 1980. Yes, Sherry is younger than I am.
Yeah.
Sherry, question number 2. How tall are you?
I'm also shorter than he is.
A little bit.
I don't know if y'all know this. I'm 5'1" on a good day.
That's true. But sometimes you're like 5'1 and a half.
Yeah, but sometimes I'm like less than 5.
I wasn't going to go there, but you're true. I am 6'1", and a little height insight. Some of you actually have noticed, Adam and Sherry, in some videos, it looks like you guys are pretty close in height. Why is that, Sherry?
Because I stand on a stool.
YouTube tricks of the trade.
Yeah, stand on a stool.
So funny.
Yeah.
All right, question number 3. What was your first job?
My first job that required taxes being taken out.
Oh, good point.
Because I babysat a lot. But my first actual job, I worked at Chick-fil-A.
In a mall.
In a mall.
In Indiana.
Yep.
And you still love Chick-fil-A even though you worked there.
Yeah, I worked there for like 3.5 years.
And that's not always the case at restaurants.
As my first job, and yeah, I love the food.
My first job, and I think that is important, that you like taxes taken out. I worked front desk at a hotel here in Anchorage, and that was an industry that I loved, and some of you guys know I spent over a decade of my life in, and absolutely loved it. Sherry, question numero cuatro.
Yeah.
That's 4, right? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Okay, we're good. Which social media site are you on the most?
Oh, probably Instagram or Pinterest. I feel like those are probably fairly equal.
Okay. For me, okay, this is a little bit hard because technically I'm probably on YouTube the most, just like responding to comments and all of that. But the site that I'm on the most just for like personal use and enjoyment.
Just for like scrolling.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also on Twitter.
Or TikTok.
Also on Facebook. I am a TikTok.
I feel like it might be TikTok.
I am a TikTok scroller. Like, if you guys follow Leg Life on TikTok, we don't post many videos at all, but like the perpetual scroll.
I think that you've seen all of TikTok.
I've reached the end of TikTok a number of times. Even TikTok is like, bro, calm down. Bro, take a breath. So actually, you're probably right.
Yeah.
All right, question. Questy. No, your name's Sherry. Question, not Questy.
Well.
Number 5. Do you have any fears or phobias?
Sure do.
And what are they?
Heights.
Yeah.
And anything creepy crawly.
Bugs, spiders, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Also, being in front of people, like public speaking, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a fear more than a phobia. But like I have like genuine like heart palpitations with heights.
Yes,
and
you
like
do.
my knees go weak and like it's not great.
Even escalators at malls, like, or airports, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I have some normal ones, and then I have a weird one that I'm not sure we've ever admitted here on YouTube. And friends mock me for this all the time.
Well, sure.
So the first normal ones are snakes and spiders. We live in Alaska where we don't have any poisonous spiders, and we have no snakes. And it's perfect.
Right.
I hate those things. Genuinely terrified of them. And the other one, and I don't know how to describe this one, and it makes me sound so dumb. Kites. But, no, stop, no. We're not going to laugh at me about my phobias, Sherry.
No, we are a little bit.
So it's not just like, oh, you see a kite in a store in the package. It is the
It's the flying kite.
It's the sensation. I don't know how to describe this. Like, you're releasing a kite, and it's up in the air soaring, and it's like, it's tugging you. It's tugging against you. It's so dumb. Like, I can see a kite in the air flying, and I'm fine. But if somebody was like, hey, do you want to hold this while I fly the kite? I'd be like, you have lost your mind. No, I don't want to do that at all.
Well.
So, a leg life...
But you'll hold balloons.
Yes, but I don't like it. For the exact same reason. The second you give me a balloon, I'm like, when can I get rid of this balloon?
Oh,
it's
honey.
kind of like holding babies.
Okay.
Like, thanks, but I'm ready to get rid of it. Yeah, no, I don't. Nope. Don't like that stuff at all. Also, how about you just laugh at me?
Well, yeah.
Rude. All right, question.
You're afraid of kites. Pieces
Yeah.
of paper or plastic that just fly in the air.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly, yes.
All right.
That's correct. Question number 6. What is your go-to Disney park if you have no plans and just want to hang out?
I'm going to let you go first on this one because I haven't come up with an answer yet.
This one is really hard for me because it's down to a couple parks. To me, it's Disneyland, like the OG, because I could just like walk around and the nostalgia, and it's not too huge, and just like I love people watching it at Disneyland. But the other park for me that is in the running for this is Animal Kingdom. So I love Animal Kingdom. I find beauty in the way that they did the theming at Animal Kingdom. It is so immersive and so beautiful. And like if I'm just hanging out and walking around and not necessarily doing rides or anything, it's between those two for me.
Yeah. This is it. For me, it purely came down to weather.
Oh.
And for me, it's between Disneyland and California Adventure.
Oh, because the
weather is just more mild in California than in Florida.
Totally get it.
It's a lot more humid. It's a lot hotter in Florida, and so for me, it's between those two parks, and I can't decide.
Okay. Well, I got 2. You can get 2.
Okay.
Question number 7.
Yeah.
Do you have any tattoos or piercings?
Yes.
Yes.
I have 6 piercings.
And the nose is the newest.
The nose is the newest.
Let's give an update, because you got that in 2020.
2021.
That's what I meant to say. Do you still are you still happy you decided to have a piece of metal rod shoved through your nose hole?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I still like it.
I think it looks amazing.
Thank you. And then I have, well, you know what? I'm going to probably have to say that I have not 6 piercings. Because I technically had 2 piercings in each lobe.
Okay.
But I think the second ones have just fully closed.
Oh, so they're not technically piercings anymore?
They're not technically piercings anymore. I think I would like to get them re-pierced. But I did at one point have 2 in each lobe, plus I have cartilage in my nose.
Okay. I have no piercings. I did have a piercing. We'll talk about that in a second. I have 2 tattoos?
Yeah, yes.
I have 2 tattoos. Okay. And they're
You know what's funny is that we've been talking about a third one for so long that I was like, you have 3. No, you don't.
That's actually what I was just, that's why I had to ask you. So here's the reality. There's probably 7 or 8 tattoos that I want. Like I have a whole list of things that I want. But I got my first one, I think when I was 18. Got my second one after we came back from Ireland. And I've
2009, which was now 13 years
which
ago.
is insane. And I've been dilly-dallying for years on my third one. I will get more tattoos. I mean, for sure, that's my plan.
Right.
You, tattoo, probably not?
Probably not. Yeah, I'm not sure how it would do with my skin.
With Ehlers-Danlos, sometimes the skin doesn't always hold the ink.
Right, and so it can kind of bleed. And it's fine with some people and not fine with others, and I'm not really willing to take that chance on something that expensive, so...
It's true. And that permanent.
I also don't really like needles.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is funny because I now have to do injections once a week and once a month, and so, it's fine.
So you want to talk about my piercing?
Yeah.
So I used to be a bouncer, so I don't know. Have we talked about that? I don't know. Some of you guys,
we have.
I feel like we have. Some of you guys may know. I used to be a bouncer at a bar. I was a bartender. I was a DJ. I've got some stories, y'all. And during that time of my life, I actually had an eyebrow piercing. Mm-hmm. I had the hoop, the little ring there on my eyebrow. When I also wore visors and had frosted tips. Mm-hmm. I knew I was going to say it because I knew you were going to make fun of me.
I sure was.
I stole your thunder.
All right.
I was that guy.
I know.
I'm not proud of it.
I know.
At all.
And like the dice hanging from the mirror.
Oh, it's horrible. Like, I'm so embarrassed. Can we move on to the next question? Okay, the next question is, where is the one place you want to travel that you haven't been to yet?
Do I have to pick one? Because there's a lot of places that I want to travel that we haven't been yet.
And actually, I will preface our answers with that, is that Sherry and I are travelers at heart. Mm-hmm. Like, we want to see the whole world.
Right.
Let's be very clear about that. Right. And so give us...
We're not going to name every single place.
No, give us some. Where's some of the places you want to travel that you haven't been?
England.
Yeah.
Well, Great Britain.
All of the UK.
All of the UK. Italy, for sure. Mm-hmm. I would like to do a lot more of Europe. We did Paris.
Yeah.
I've been to Germany. I've driven through Belgium.
We did Ireland.
We did Ireland. I would like to see more of France because I've only ever been to Paris. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot.
So for me, 100% agree with all of that. I would say right now, I'm going to twist the question a little bit.
Okay.
And we were talking about this. I think we actually talked about it in a vlog before we went to Florida. I want a fully relaxing all vacation. I want us to go to Fiji, the vacation that was freaking canceled because of COVID, and I want to sit on a beach for like 10 days, sipping fruity drinks and making literally no decisions. That's what I want.
I also want one of those.
That's what I want right now. Mm-hmm. Like, there's like a lot of places in the world I want to see and things I want to do. But the thing that I really want right now is like a tropical beach, relaxing, all-inclusive resort, fruity drink vacation.
Yes.
Doesn't that sound amazing?
It really, really does.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna bump that up a little bit higher on the list. Also, like Australia, South America. I would love to see like Southern Hemisphere places.
Me too. Yep.
So, I've never been south of the equator.
Nope, we would love to do that.
Yeah.
So speaking of fruity drinks, next question, are you religious?
This is a weird question.
Weird because it's worded weird, or weird because it's hard to answer?
It's hard to answer. Yes. I'm gonna say yes. Yeah. I don't, without getting too deep into theology.
Yeah, I would say that Sherry and I both for sure believe in like a God that is a creator. We would identify as Christians. The term religious sometimes can be difficult because sometimes religion is a set of beliefs that you just simply follow for some ultimate good.
Which is not really where we're at.
Yeah, which is not really where we're at. So 100% we try to live our life in a way that looks a lot like Jesus and sometimes not a lot like his followers.
Correct.
Or the people who say they follow him.
Correct.
I don't know. That's kind of us. Is that it's like, man, it'd be cool to look a lot like Jesus and look very different than sometimes what the world thinks his followers are.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Hopefully we didn't piss off too many people with that. Question number 10. What is one dish you loved eating growing up as a kid?
Okay, so I answered this earlier when we kind of went through this, and I'm going to change my answer.
What?
Well, I'm going to keep my answer, but there's two that immediately came to mind when I read this, and I feel like I need to mention them both.
Okay, do it.
First, my mother's meatloaf.
It's bomb. It's so good.
It's so good, and she has sent me the recipe. And what was funny is that she had to, like, make it and then, like, kind of guess at how much of whatever she's putting in because she doesn't use a recipe. She was just like, here's the meatloaf.
Yeah. She's made it so many times.
Right.
It's like a routine.
Right. And so she tried to give me a recipe, and it's just, we have not been able to recreate it to be anywhere near as good as hers. And so heard meatloaf. But also, this is something that we grew up with. We had it a lot, and it was rice and summer sausage and broccoli and cheese. And usually Velveeta cheese melted over the top.
I ain't gonna hate on Velveeta cheese. That stuff is delicious.
And you know, like, those two things, the meatloaf and, like, whatever this casserole thing was, I loved both of them.
Okay. First of all, your mom's meatloaf is spectacular.
Right.
Some of the best meatloaf I've ever had.
Correct.
It's so good. For me, this is hard because my answer isn't a meal. My answer is this thing my mom used to do for meals. Okay. So imagine this. If you can imagine, I was a kid who was kind of annoying and asked a lot of questions.
What?
I know. We're all shocked.
Like you were an Aries.
It's almost like I was an Aries. And so I think my mom got so tired of me being like, Mom, what's for dinner? Mom, what's for dinner? What are we having for dinner tonight? Mom, what are we having for dinner? That she would stop telling me what we were having for dinner. And she would always say, oh, it's Sunday surprise. Oh, it's Wednesday surprise. It's Thursday surprise. Oh, this is Friday surprise. She would never tell me what we were having for dinner. It was always that day and surprise because she was so tired of me asking questions. I miss that.
Because she's too nice of a person to be like, shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
To like lock me in a closet until after dinner. So she'd just tell me like Wednesday surprise, Thursday surprise. And you never knew what it was going to be. Like you never knew. I will say the one food of my mom's that if I had to pick like an actual food, I have two that stand out. Number one, I love my mom's cornbread stuffing for Thanksgiving. Like just love, love, love it. But number two, she used to make these fried chicken cutlets. And I always remember her making them in her cast iron. Just like little pieces of chicken, egg wash, like a little flour bath, and just like fry them up. And we'd normally have them with some kind of a gravy. And I always remember loving that.
That sounds good.
So there we go.
All right.
Wednesday surprise. It was just the funniest thing. All right, question number 11. Mm-hmm. What board game do you play the most?
We don't play a lot of games. I feel like we go through kind of spurts.
Totally.
We played a lot more games when we first got married because we were super poor.
And board games are free. That's the nice thing. You spend $15 on a board game, you got hours of free entertainment.
Right. And weeks and months and years
True.
of entertainment. We played a lot of Yahtzee.
You guys.
A lot of Yahtzee.
I feel like the first 3 years of our marriage were just Yahtzee games.
Yeah. Yeah. To the point that I feel like we stopped using the cards because it cost a lot of money to keep replacing them. And so we were just using like...
Yeah, paper.
Paper.
It was. We stopped buying the official Yahtzee cards. And we were just using like copy paper.
Because it cost money to buy more.
Oh, it's so fun. So we played so much Yahtzee.
So much Yahtzee. We played a lot of Boggle.
Okay.
You hated every game.
Sherry is, and here's, I wish there was a way for us to do this like with all of you. Because when we play Boggle, I wonder, I'm like, is there anybody in the world that can beat Sherry at Boggle? Because
Probably.
I don't know. Because we like, you play Boggle, you turn it over, you're looking for the words, and I like write down 4 or 5, and then I just stare like this. And Sherry the whole time is just like, and we get done and I'm like, I got 6 words. You're like, I got 138 words. Like, that is not possible. And so Boggle for me, there is no game that we play that makes me feel more like incompetent and dumb than Boggle. Like, that is it. It is Boggle.
Sorry,
but you love it because you crush me so hard at Boggle.
And my brain works like that really well. And
you
so
see patterns and words and letters. Oh.
Yeah, and I read a lot. And so when I see, these 3 letters together, I instantly know, like, these are the 6 words you can get from it. Just go. And I just write them all down. And then I'll look again, and it just...
And I'm like, at, bat, cat, hat. Sherry's like, incomplete, nincompoop, smorgasbord. I'm like, how are you spelling these words? How do you see that that's in there? It's so annoying to me.
Sorry.
It's okay. I know.
Sorry.
There's some
Speaking
nights.
of sorry, we also played a lot of sorry.
That transition was spectacular. Speaking of sorry. Wow.
You're welcome.
We did play a lot of sorry.
Yeah.
I will say that if there are nights that I want to surprise Sherry with just like a special at-home date night, if I'm just like, I got a bottle of wine and some Boggle, she is like, you're the greatest man alive.
I mean, you are anyway.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Next question. You ready?
Yes.
Do you have a bucket list? And what is the top item on it?
I think you and I have similar answers to this.
Yeah.
Yes, we have bucket lists, which is really just things that we want to do before we die. And I don't know that it's in any particular order.
Yeah, that's mine too.
And I will say that my bucket list changed a little bit this year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, last year, technically, in 2021.
With like sickness stuff?
Because I almost died.
Yeah.
And so I feel like my bucket list sort of changed a little bit with that. Like, things became more important than
Makes
they
sense.
were.
Interesting. Like what? Can I ask?
Like traveling when we get the chance, I think.
Not putting off some of those
Not
things.
putting off some of these big trips until it's like the right time, but just like doing it because you might not have a right time.
We've talked a lot about this, that, one of the things that we are fortunate to have is we have lots and lots of air miles. And I'm pretty bad about using those, honestly. We just kind of sit on them and I hoard them. But we've actually talked about this, that one of the things that has happened to our bucket list through all this is to be like, let's use that stuff.
Let's just go.
Let's just go. Like,
Yeah.
we have the miles. Let's just go on some of these trips. So as soon as things open up, we will be doing that. I think Missy just walked below her table, and so I just felt like
Headbutted my
just,
leg.
I feel like a cat, just like brushed my leg. I will say for me, exactly what you said. That my bucket list isn't like numbered.
Right.
Most of my bucket list stuff. One of the things I'll give one example of something for me, and this is with our trip back to Florida, spending time with Ron and Cecilia, my brother and his wife. It's just kind of that realization that man, if we see them as infrequently as we have over the last 20 years, I'm only going to see my brother a few more times in my life.
Right.
And like that sucks.
That's not.
And so, like, prioritizing the things that sort of really matter. I think that when we were younger, our bucket list items would have looked very different than they do now. Now our bucket list tends to be like people and memories. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like people and experiences.
Yep.
So that's fair?
Yep.
All right. Next item. What TV show do you absolutely love? Or what are some of them?
I was going to say, I've got a few.
This is one of the things with Sherry, you guys. Because you are what's the word you would use?
Enneagram 5.
Because you're an Enneagram 5, absolute questions like what is your favorite? What is the best? Those questions are very difficult. So not what TV shows, like what's your favorite TV show? What TV shows do you love?
Yeah. That's easier for me to answer.
Pro tip.
Yeah. If I have to choose one thing, my brain short circuits. And I'm just like,
You watch like her eyes just like gloss over.
right, and just like panic. So I love Gilmore Girls, minus
Me too.
the last season because it was terrible. Don't watch it.
Wow.
But the first 7 were fantastic. Merlin, I love. It's a BBC show, also not on anymore. What are other shows?
Schitt's Creek you love?
Schitt's Creek I love. New Girl and The Office. And
You know what show you loved that you watched, I feel like, for a while? You loved Ugly Betty.
yes, I have seen that multiple times all the way through. Yes.
Firefly? Was that the name of the show?
Did love Firefly. I actually didn't watch Firefly until it was over. But that's actually one that we bought on DVD.
So like
that I could just watch
you
it.
liked a big range of shows.
Yes.
And I am not quite that way. The shows that I typically like, Arrested Development, The Office, How I Met Your Mother, like those kind of shows.
And I love all of those.
Comedy shows tend to be the things that get me.
And short.
Yeah, comedy shows and short. I'm not a huge...
Arrested Development, I guess, was like an hour, like hour-long episodes, but everything else is like 23 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not huge on like really long episode shows.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there you go. Those are our TV shows.
I like those.
The next one, this is a very important question, Sherry. You ready?
Okay.
Take a breath. What sports teams do you follow?
Sports.
Sherry's. So, you grew up in Indiana.
I grew up in Indiana, but I haven't lived there in over 18 years.
Your dad was a high school athletic director in the state of Indiana. Big deal.
Yep, big deal. So, 18 years ago, I could have told you everything you wanted to know about basketball.
It's true. When we watch stuff about like the late 80s and 90s NBA, Sherry's just like, oh look, there's Scottie Pippen, there's Isaiah Thomas.
He's number this on this team.
Like there's Patrick Ewing. I'm like, what? I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
But now, not so much.
Not so much. And honestly, mostly I think that was just like the world that I grew up in, and so it was always on. It was always like big in our house. My dad loves all sports, hence the athletic director, and we just always had sports of some kind on. And so like March Madness was like, he would literally like take art off the wall and like put up the bracket.
I love that.
Like wall sized. So, basketball was a big thing for me, but I don't really care.
So that's what I was going to ask.
Now.
Growing up, your dad, like, you were kind of immersed in sports because of your dad.
Right.
Now, like any sports that are on in the house, it's because of me.
Yeah,
so,
and I'll be in the room with them on. I don't care if they're on.
But is there any sport? Let's say tomorrow I get hit by a meteor.
I mean, I hope no.
Just for the vlog.
Okay.
Is there any sport you would watch by yourself?
No.
Okay, there you go.
Ice skating.
Oh, see? There you go, like
Olympics,
figure skating.
Yeah, Olympics, like ice skating.
So see, there's an answer there.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, literally just figure skating in the Winter Olympics is the only sport Sherry would like. Sports teams that I follow, mostly the Seattle sports teams. I'm a huge fan of the Seahawks, a huge fan of the Seattle Mariners. Although in Major League Soccer, I'm actually not a Seattle fan. I'm a Portland Timbers fan. That's kind of where it diverges. I'm a Seattle Kraken NHL fan. So primarily Seattle teams. One of the things you'll find living in Alaska is that a lot of Alaskans like the Seattle teams because they're kind of like our hometown teams.
It's the closest.
Yeah, we can like go to games in just 3 hours, that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah, so that's sort of the default, but there are a lot of transplants in Alaska, and so I feel like there's groups of like every fan.
It is true, and that's one of the things that's kind of cool about living here is that like different teams have different like fan clubs that meet at different sports bars,
right.
Especially for like football. I just love that.
Yep.
Okay, next question. What is your biggest pet peeve, or what is a pet peeve?
I feel like a mean person when I say this.
Okay.
And I debated even saying it.
What if right now Sherry says beards?
Aries. I like that you get more upset about Aries than your beard.
First of all,
your beard is something you chose. You aren't just an Aries.
First of all, how dare you? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But both of those. Bad grammar, and I just.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy, especially with people who have like been to college, have degrees. I'm like, how did you graduate high school with this kind of grammar, and let alone like getting your master's? Like I can't comprehend that because it's just, and it's how my brain works. Like I just see grammar.
Those things jump off the page to you.
And even in like published books, like I edit them as I read. Like I proofread. I'm like, oh, there's a typo. Oh, didn't need an apostrophe. Oh, there should be a comma there. So that's how my brain works. I understand not everybody does, but bad grammar just drives me crazy.
That does not surprise me one bit. Also,
and I'm sorry.
The fact that God put you with me is hilarious because my grammar is atrocious.
No, it's really,
and that not... atrocious is spelled with an apostrophe S.
Okay, it's really not. For sure. No, but your grammar isn't really bad. You don't know where to put commas. I feel
no, that's not true.
You either have 17 commas
yes.
where you needed 3, or you have 3 commas when you needed 17. You just don't understand the comma thing. But like mostly your grammar is good.
I put commas all like wherever. If I think there's a comma, like I don't know, throw a comma in there.
Right, but they're always in wrong places.
Sure.
Right. So that's why I proofread your stuff. But like your commas are weird, and your apostrophes are weird. But like your grammar, your sentence structure is good. Your spelling is good.
Average.
It's mostly good.
Mostly good. I'll take
not great.
I will take mostly good. For me, I think that my pet peeve, one of them, people who, I'm trying to know how to word this. People who think that they are the smartest in the room always, or people who think that they don't have anything they could learn from anybody else. Yeah. One of the things that I genuinely believe, and I think that the best, I'll tell a story about when I got to spend time with someone from the Marriott family in a minute. I've just always believed that I have something to learn from every person. right? And I think that if you approach other people and you approach every relationship, like there is something that I could learn from this person.
Right.
Even, I talked about this in a video, I think, even when our nephews were up here, I could sit down with them and there are topics that even though they're like much younger than me, they know more than I do, right?
Right. Well, we did podcasts with them because
Talking
of that.
about Pokemon, talking about
Minecraft,
right? That kind of stuff. Like every person you come in contact with throughout your life, there is a topic that they are smarter than you at.
Right.
And if you go through your life thinking that like, I've got this, I can do this myself, I just think you miss out on the beauty of this gigantic like think tank that we have.
Yeah.
So my Marriott story is when I was in the hotel industry, I had an opportunity to be back in Bethesda, Maryland, where Marriott was headquartered. And I was in this like, I don't know how to describe it, this like young executive kind of program. And we were in a meeting with someone from the Marriott family. And you would think like your name's literally on all the buildings.
Right.
Like you're going to lead this meeting, right? Yet he didn't say a word in this meeting. I mean, a couple words, maybe. But when things were directed to him, he would direct them to somebody else and be like, you know, Brian, what do you think about this? Nancy, what are your thoughts on that? What do you... And every question that came to him as Marriott, he directed to somebody else at the team. And after the meeting, I'll never forget what he said is somebody asked him about that, about, you know, that we kind of, you go into a meeting like that and you expect that it's like, oh man, we're going to watch this guy on display.
Right.
Yet what he did was put everybody else on display. And I remember him talking to us about how as a leader, the most important thing is who you surround yourself with. That the best thing in order for Marriott to be the best company it could, it wasn't about him being the best leader. It was about him empowering the people around him. And I just remember thinking like, oh, this isn't about me. You know what I mean? Like me being the best leader, the best business person, the best boss, the best business owner is not about like me being the best.
Right.
It's about surrounding myself with the best.
Yeah.
And so I've just tried to take that like learner mentality into areas of life. And I think the things that I make and create and do are better because of that. And so my pet peeve is like when people genuinely think that they're the smartest in the room, it's so annoying to me because I think like you're really missing out.
Right. Yep. I agree.
That was a much longer answer than I expected. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. The next question. What is your favorite ride at Disney? And Sherry, we've got to have a favorite on this one.
Oh no. Well, I don't like rides.
It's true.
If I have to go on a ride, I do like Ariel's, what is it? Ariel's Underwater Adventure.
Yeah, like Disney California Adventure. You love that one.
Yep, I like the Winnie the Pooh ride.
You love the Winnie the Pooh ride.
Yeah.
Those are your things.
I love Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
Haunted Mansion might be my favorite one.
Ooh.
Actually, yep.
Good answer.
We're gonna go Haunted Mansion.
Okay. Mine is Pirates. If you guys have watched a while, you know I'm a huge Pirates fan. I know it's not and let me be very clear, the Disneyland Pirates.
Disneyland.
Because I want those 2 drops. I want the Disneyland version. So Pirates would definitely be mine. Next question. Is there another YouTuber that you admire and watch regularly? Good question.
It's a good question. You watch a lot more YouTube than I do. When I watch YouTube, I really only watch our friends because I care about what's happening in their lives. And so I really just don't branch out much from that. There's a few other YouTubers that I follow, but I don't really watch exclusively. I don't watch all of their videos. Yeah,
and mine's kind of the same that, you know, as our channel's grown and we still try to respond to as many comments as we can, YouTube just like takes time. And so it takes time to like just run our YouTube, which doesn't leave a lot of time to like watch or consume YouTube.
Right.
So like when we started YouTube, I would just like pull up YouTube and just like scroll, like look through the trending videos, watch the popular channels, like that kind of stuff.
Right.
But now we have so many friends who have channels that like I want to hang out with them. I want to support them. I want to watch them.
Yeah.
That I have very little time to like watch other channels of people that we don't like personally know.
Right, because I mean it's more a time thing, but I also just don't watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, you're not a big YouTube like consumer like I am.
Right.
But then the second part of the question, a YouTuber that you admire. First of all, there's a lot of them. This is a video that we could talk for a long time.
Yes.
But as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about who do I admire lately, and I'm going to answer somebody who we've never met.
Right.
People we've never met, But you guys know one of the things we'd like to. One of the things that we really try to do here on Leg Life is lend our platform to people that we believe in. Like, that's why we love shouting out our friends. We love telling you guys to go subscribe. When you all tell us that you guys are watching Auburn and the Zachmans and the Millers and our other friends' videos, and like I go to the comments and I see you all in there, that brings me so much joy.
Yeah.
Like, so much joy. And so we love using our platform to help other people because we think there's just enough to go around.
Yep.
But it's not something you see all the time because like YouTube can be pretty competitive, and so you don't always see that kind of stuff.
Right.
But there is a couple that has been that way for us, and I don't really even know if they understand that they have been. And that's Tim and Jen Tracker.
Yeah.
They have a gigantic channel on YouTube, do a ton of Disney stuff, ton of Disney cruises, and they've talked about us in their videos a number of times now.
Right.
And every time they do, we instantly see like subscriber, like bunch of people come over, and a bunch of people message us on Instagram, bunch of people on Facebook, like, oh my gosh, the trackers just messaged you or just mentioned you. And I just think it's cool to see a channel that big, not afraid to talk about other channels and people they watch.
Right, because there's nothing that we can do for them.
No, that's the thing is like, here's the thing. Tim and Jen aren't going to gain anything by like talking about us because like we have almost 18,000 subscribers and they have like hundreds and hundreds of thousands more.
Correct.
And so, I don't know, I admire them using their platform and being willing to talk about other creators. I don't know, I see the encouragement that is to us when we get those like boosts from them. So yeah, I think that's who I'm admiring lately, even though honestly I could make a list of 50 channels that have been very generous and kind and supportive to us.
Yeah.
So next question. Ooh, what do you do to relax?
This is an easy one for me. This is nearly impossible for you.
Actually, it's not. You'll be surprised. Oh.
What? I read.
You do. You read a lot.
I read to relax. I read because I love it. I just read all the time.
Reading is your... Okay, outside of reading, is there a thing you do to relax?
Yeah, I like art.
You're very creative.
I like to do something artsy. And like movies, TV shows. If I can just sort of zone out to something like that, that's relaxing to me to not have to use my brain.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So to me, Sherry is right in that I have struggled historically to relax. I'm typically a very like workaholic, go kind of guy. I have lots of side hustles and hobbies, and turning off my brain has been very difficult. But a couple of years ago, I was in Austin, Texas for Austin City Limits, and me and some friends who I was down there with went to a float center, like to do a float tank, a sensory deprivation tank. And I remember doing it and thinking like, I finally found my thing. Like I finally found what helps me relax. I've done massages and they're great. I love them, but they're not terribly relaxing to me. But we have
getting the crap beat out of you.
Yeah, because like I normally go to places, like here's the thing. I don't want to be pet. Like I don't want to be petted.
It's not like this, like
break me.
Right.
Beat me up. I'm paying you to...
You're not leaving with bruises. They didn't do it
It's not a good enough massage. And so the float tank for me is like, it is an hour or 90 minutes, however long I'm in there, of just like, just still and calm and no senses. And it's exactly what I need.
Right.
And so I notice a real difference in myself, like the week after I float and several days after I float than when I don't. I'm just more relaxed and chill.
Yeah.
So float tanks for me, without a doubt. All right, unfortunately, we have an amazing float center here in Anchorage, which I love.
Yep.
Okay, so we have 2 more questions.
Okay.
What is one thing you are proud of accomplishing so far? And this can be life, professional, today, like literally anything.
Today.
Yep.
So this is something that we talked about doing for a long time. And that I guess it was 2019, 18. I don't remember when we started it, but it really actually took off in 2020, my Etsy shop. And I did basically nothing in 2021 because I was mostly just trying to stay alive. So I didn't do a lot, but this is one thing I would like to get back into, and I was really proud of what I did in 2020, how far I took it, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a nice chunk of change for us as well, so I was pretty proud of that.
Would you like to, because 2020 really was the pinnacle, and again, I mean, you had a ton of help from Auburn. Like,
I had a lot of
I mean,
help, yeah.
you guys were just like a machine.
Yeah.
Is 2020 Sherry's Etsy shop something you'd like to get back to? Was 2020 too much? Would you like to even go beyond 2020?
I would like to go even beyond 2020. I would like to see how far I can take it.
I love that.
We have discussed, like, what would it look like to just do Etsy full time. I don't know if I'm there yet, but it's something I enjoy doing.
Yeah, and it is a big accomplishment because anytime, if you're a creative person, you'll understand this. Anytime you make something,
Yeah.
there is so much fear in putting it out there, because what happens is that we put a piece of ourselves in everything we make. Like, if you're like a real artist or a creative person, you put like part of yourself in those pieces. And so if you put those out to the world and somebody like rejects them or doesn't like them, basically they're rejecting and not liking you.
Right, which is not actually true, but that's
how
where
it
my
feels.
brain goes.
Totally.
Like, I definitely feel like they're rejecting me and not my design.
And so it's like, it's easy as an artist to not put your stuff out there.
Yeah.
And so you put yourself out there in a, I mean, I remember all those initial discussions. And it took a lot of courage for you to even make that step. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of you as well. I think there's a couple things that I was thinking of with this one. I think the one that I'll land on, just because it's start of January health journey, is the fact that like I've already lost 100 pounds.
And you kept it off.
And I've kept it off. Now I still have much more that I want to lose, but I have lost 100 pounds and I've been able to keep that off.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of that. And actually that's given me sort of the encouragement to be like, hey, you've already lost the majority of weight you need to lose. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to lose another 100 pounds. And so I'm just really excited about this year. I feel like this is going to be a really pivotal year for us health-wise.
Yeah.
And like reminding myself how far I've come and how far you've come just really helps. So I think the 100-pound weight loss.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very proud of you for that too.
Thanks. Every now and then we'll like uncover photos from years ago and we'll just be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Whoa.
Lost some weight.
Yep.
Last question. Are you ready for the last question?
Yep.
This is a good one, but it's a deeper one.
It's a deeper one.
What's a favorite thing about each other? A favorite, doesn't have to be the favorite.
I think it was originally, what is your favorite
It
thing?
was, we changed it because Enneagram 5.
Panic mode. Because there's just so many things that I love about you and admire about you.
Okay, are you flirting with me on camera?
Well, just
Okay.
stating facts. One of my favorite things about you is how welcoming you are to everybody.
Okay.
And here's what I mean by that. You're a big dude,
Yeah.
and
Not as big because I've lost 100 pounds.
it's true. But like you're tall
Yeah,
and
totally.
you're broad and like,
Yeah.
you know, you're a big dude. And so you could come across, and a lot of bigger guys do, as
Like intimidating?
intimidating.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, people do not find you intimidating, and they, like strangers in the grocery store, will just like bare their souls.
You guys all of the time.
All the time. And it's honestly one of my favorite things about you, because you just have this aura about you that people know that you're a safe space. And I love that. I'm glad that they don't feel that with me, because I don't generally like people. And so like I don't want to hear their whole life story, but you're really good about that. And like it's just, I don't know. It's one of my favorite things about you.
You know what's really funny is you've pointed this out to me a lot. I didn't realize that this isn't everybody's experience.
You know.
Like, I didn't know that we all don't do this. That every
And-
time you go to the grocery store, whoever like is checking you out, the cashier, doesn't like actually spill their deepest like.
No, and that's the thing. It's like I can be going through the line and I can just say, "How was your day?" It's good. That's all I get. Which is fine with me, honestly, because I don't really care beyond that. But, like, you'll just say, how was your day? Same inflection, same everything. And they're like, you know, it's been a day, and this is everything that has happened to me ever in my life. And, like, and I'm like, how does that happen to you? Because I can ask literally the same question, and I get a 1 or 2 word answer.
I get paragraphs and books.
You get, right, like, the entire life story.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I do. It's weird though, and it's always like that's as long as I remember. Like I don't remember that ever not being like my reality. So I don't know. Thank you though.
Yeah.
I think for you, there's 2 things that I'm going back and forth between, so I'm gonna say them both. Sorry.
I had to pick one.
Well, sorry. That's why you don't go first. You go last because you get your closing argument. The first thing, and I'll just touch on this one, but even like last night, it's currently really cold in Anchorage, and we're having horrible winds, and it's like negative 20, like 26 last night, I think, below zero.
Right.
And so as we're looking at like
wind.
with wind, so when we're looking at that, like Sherry's mind in situations always goes to like people in need. And so, like, if the weather's really bad, she's just like, we have like hand warmers and we have socks and we have things like, let's like your like heart naturally turns to people that are in need when not just weather gets cold, but in all those situations. You're very compassionate to people.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The second thing though that I want to say is that, and this is so interesting to me. Because what you just said about me, how people don't open up to you and how you don't necessarily want them to, that you're afraid of like crowds of people and groups of people. But here's what I've got to say. You, one-on-one, especially with people in need, you don't have a lot of tolerance for people who are just like BSing you. You don't have a lot of tolerance for people who just want to small talk you.
I have a very high BS meter.
And you don't have a lot of tolerance for like if things are going to stay surface. But when people approach you and they open up about like hard things and life things or struggles, like your engagement with them is just so like powerful. Like you just the way you connect with people. I think of times when we used to do like dinners for like our homeless neighbors, or times that we used to serve like marginalized people, and your connection with them was always just really powerful for somebody who's like, oh, I don't really like people. It's like I've seen you like really care for people really well when they're willing to actually open up to you and not just be like, oh, things are fine, things are great, things are wonderful.
And maybe that's it. Like I don't have time for people that are just gonna stay surface.
Yeah, I think that's it with you. I think you have no desire to enter into relationships that are like shallow or meaningless.
Right. Or people that are just complaining for the sake of complaining. Like they don't really have a tough life. They just want to let everybody think they do.
Yeah.
No time for that.
But if people really do and like open up to you, the way you connect with them, I just think is really beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So friends, that are grammar. Those are 20 questions sent in by, was it Phil? Is that right? Phil, who sent us those questions. Phil, thank you so much for doing that. That was really nice. I think this is kind of a fun video to do near the first of the year with lots of new subscribers, just to let you guys know a little bit about us.
See a little bit more of us. Yep.
Want to know in the comments below, for those of you guys who are new here, what is something you learned about us that you thought was interesting? Huh? For those of you who have been around a long time, did you learn anything new?
Yeah.
Was there anything about us that you are surprised about, that you learned for the first time? Friends, we love you. We're so thankful you're a part of our community. It means the world to us that you follow us around on everything.
Yep. And you are allowed to laugh at Adam for his fear of kites.
Okay, why would you bring that up at the end of the video again? We've moved past that. We weren't even talking about kites anymore. So help me. If you guys send kites to our P.O. box, I am shutting down the P.O. box and closing the channel.
Honestly, please don't, because they'll just end up in the trash.
They're getting donated to charity. Every kite we received is getting donated to charity.
We literally have no kites.
No, why would we have a kite? Why do we have a box of snakes? That's equally as terrifying. Why would we have kites in our house? Friends, we love you guys. We'll see you in the next Leg Life video. Hello friends, welcome to Leg Life. I looked at you and I was just like, she's really cute. And you threw me off. So you need to not be so cute. Take two.